What's going on, everyone? In this video I'll be doing a speed test of the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation against the Fire TV Cube 1st generation. This one should be pretty interesting for me as the Fire TV Cube was my main device for the past year. We're going to start with a boot up test to see which one boots up faster. Both devices were plugged into a power strip and the power strip was plugged into the wall. And there you have it, the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation is already on the home screen. And after a bit of time, the Fire TV Cube 1st generation has caught up. The boot up test isn't very significant as most people will probably leave their devices plugged in. However, it's still pretty interesting to see what improvements we get. Now I'm going to scroll through some of the menus just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect. You can see for yourself that the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation is pretty snappy in loading the images and even this trailer here. Both devices are connected to the same network via Wi-Fi. Now, one thing I will mention is they were side by side in this test, so that could impact some of the performance here. Next up, I want to see what happens when we try to download some apps on both devices. I'm going to try and find the same app on both devices and download them at the same time. So in both of those tests, it seems that the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation installed the app much quicker than the Fire TV Cube 1st generation. At one point, it seemed that the 1st generation downloaded Plex a lot quicker. However, it got stuck on the installation where the 2nd generation won. I tried to do some Alexa prompts, but it seemed that because the devices were next to each other, it failed every single time. So we'll go ahead and skip that part. I did notice myself that telling the device to scroll down and select an item from the list did seem a lot quicker on the 2nd generation. Alright, it's time to see which device can load apps quicker and which device can keep them in the background without having to restart it. First test, Plex, opened a lot quicker on the 2nd generation. Moving on to YouTube. You can pretty much see it for yourself. We're already on the login screen on the 2nd gen. Still waiting on the 1st generation. Next up, I try some games that are available on both devices. This clip here was perfect because you can see the character moving from the left to the right. I thought that was pretty cool. We'll keep going with the speed test, but it pretty much seems one-sided at this point. Right now is when I try to go in reverse and try to see which apps were kept in the background. So we'll start with Sonic, which was the last app that I opened. It seemed very fine. Moving on to Hill Dash, it seemed like it was loading on both devices. So it's not like a phone with a lot of RAM where it's able to keep the apps in the background. But we'll see if that's the case for every app. Well, Flappy Bird seemed to stay open on the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation. So most apps from that point seem to have refreshed from the beginning, but that's to be expected. The Fire TV Cube doesn't have the type of RAM management that you would expect from a phone. All right, before I conclude the video, I'm going to go ahead and do a restart test just to kind of finish the video off strong. But for me, I'm very happy to see that the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation has a lot of speed improvements. Now, I want to know from you guys, do you think that these improvements are worth an upgrade? And if so, which device are you upgrading from? For me, I'm definitely going to stick with the 2nd generation as my daily driver, which will be replacing my 1st generation Fire TV Cube. And there you have it. Thank you for watching this video. Hit the like button if you found it helpful. Subscribe for more videos like this. And make sure to check out my website, lbtechtips.com, for more content and other awesome things.